Hello friends, do you know most of the student and working professional start their JavaScript learning in the wrong way. They start from the wrong tactic, they start learning in the wrong format JavaScript. So what we are going to cover, we are going to cover very interesting JavaScript fundamentals and very nice way of learning JavaScript in the right fashion in this video. Keep watching this video till the end, and we are going to also practice a lot of other stuff in this video. So first of all, help me out to understand, is JavaScript used to just make a website interactive? What do you think, guys? Let me know in the comment. What's your thought? If you are the one who thinks like, hey, JavaScript you used to make a website interactive and that's why you started learning JavaScript, I will say, guys, that's very wrong expectation from a JavaScript, because JavaScript can do much more beyond than just making your website interactive. And hence I am going to tell you the right way, what you should focus first in JavaScript and then what you should basically learn in JavaScript. Most of the developer starts writing window.alert hello world. How many of you basically learned the JavaScript, the first command like window.alert? So let me quickly help you out. So let me go into the console. You can execute your JavaScript basically in the browser itself. So you can go into the console, right click, go into the console, inspect element, and then over here you can execute your JavaScript. Most of the people start their journey by writing window.alert and basically they say hello world. And now you can see, because you get a pop-up which says that hello world and it says that, hey, I've started my JavaScript journey. So I will say, guys, this is the wrong way of learning JavaScript. Now, I know in order to see something can execute and you get a pop-up, this is the one of the interesting way it seems like, but let's understand from a very fundamental granular stuff. So I'm going to deep dive into each and everything, but before, let's touch upon what is the right way to learn JavaScript. Before even I jump into, in case you are not enrolled into like Chakde JavaScript 30 days of, you can say, full dense, you can say, learning experience where you are going to get learning across multiple core concept, intermediate and advanced concepts basically. And along with that, you will be having some projects that we are going to cover. The interesting part is you just not get the concept to learn from a variety of diverse interesting example, but also to learn from a great, you can say, content creator, the videos from them. And along with that, the best part is you can practice the problem statement. So you can come practice, say that, hey, whatever concept you learn, you can keep practicing over here. You can see the solution, other submission, you can have discussion, finally submit. And the most important, you get a score of for each successful submit. And we are going to leverage those score in future. Don't worry around that. Now, coming back, what is the right way to learn the JavaScript? So JavaScript has two important dimensions that you have to understand. One is the programming and second is the development. Guys, very important. I am highlighting again. One is the programming angle and second is the development. When I say programming, so you learn the how do you code in JavaScript, and second, when we say development, so development, again, development for the browser or development on the server side of stuff, right? So development we will cover in depth, in no doubt, in more detail, but the first thing that we should learn is the programming. First, you should be a good programmer, where I say, can you code in JavaScript? Can you write a logic in JavaScript in order to do some job? You should be able to do. And what are those important things to learn? I am going to cover each and everything. Now, before we get into and start into all of those important concepts, let's understand very fundamental stuff. Example, how do you print anything in JavaScript? You can use console.log. So console.log is something which is very important. You can say hello world when you basically execute in the console. I will show you in the browser also. So you can use this, you see in the console, you can see hello world basically got printed over here, right? Now, similar thing basically you can do in the browser. You go just in the browser, in the console, you just write hello world as on console.log is to print anything that you want. Now, with that, I'm going to use something called very interesting, guys, in case you don't know. So there is something called content snippet, or I will say snippets. My own snippets basically we are going to create over here. So I will say JS1. So I'm going to write a lot of code over here so that you can see the different programming aspect of JavaScript and everything we are going to do inside this. I'm not going to use any VS Code. I'm not going to do anything in the initial phases. Eventually I'm going to do, I wanted to show you the power of browser can do a lot of interesting thing, and that is what we will see. We will start learning JavaScript within browser, and then we will go to VS Code, we'll use IDE and blah blah blah. So with that, let's get started. So now there are two parts, as we said. You have a programming side and you have a development. In programming, what are the fundamental things that you should master first? And we are going to cover each and everything. The first part is basically you should understand what is variable and what are the data type. At a high level, I am going to cover everything in detail are going to come up in the upcoming video. The first fundamental things let's cover up. Variables, right? Variables, you have to understand like a storage. You have a container, you can have a different kind of a container. Like you have a var, let, const. These are the different kind of a container. The what is the purpose, what are the intent, we will cover in a separate video, as I said, right? But consider different kind of a storage, a plastic container, a steel container, a glass container kind of a thing. Data type are like a data. What kind of a data you are putting in those container? Are you putting some oil, liquid, jelly, some pulses, rice, chili powder? What kind of stuff that you are going to put? That is called data type. Like in our case, it is you have a string, number, object, array, those kind of thing. Then you have some operator, like you can add two of the data. Like if you have to make a lava paneer, right? You put different ingredient, you put maybe chili powder, your salt and all sort of thing in order to make it work, right? Sometimes you compare certain things. Is it a chili powder only? You just don't go with the color, you compare it, either it is spicy and whatnot. All those different operators basically are used to identify, to compare, to make some judgment and all sort of thing. Conditional operator is like if someone likes sweet, then you put sugar. If someone likes salt, you put salt, salty thing for salt, right? Those kind of a thing. We will take an example. Loop, anything that you wanted to do on a repeated fashion, right? If you have to prepare tea for multiple people again and again, so you will do something in a loop fashion, right? Function, like you don't have to tell the process again. You don't want it to execute each line of code again and again. You just give a command. That command knows multiple steps has to be executed. Those kind of a thing. Array, like you can store certain things like a train. You are standing in a queue. Anything which is in a sequential fashion is something an array. Object is anything that is, think about a key pair value, like your marriage data, right? Bio data basically that you can think of. Student record that you can think of. You have a name, you have an address, you have a lot of other stuff, right? So let's talk about all of those things one at a time, and we are going to quickly see different kind of examples over here. So guys, I'm going to cover this video from very starting for very beginner. Even the students or people who are starting their JavaScript journey can benefit from this. Hence basically these things, in case you are already pro, you can skip, you can jump into the important part. It's completely okay, right? But there are multiple fundamental mistakes we do, and hence I recommend people to maybe watch in a speed fashion, but do watch the videos till the end, because there are some important parts cover in mid of the video. Now, as we talk about storage, var is one kind of a storage. So var, I say I have a variable called a, and I wanted to put some data inside this. So probably my data can be name. I will say this is my first name is a variable, and the value that I wanted to store is a string type, which is called Chirag example, right? The other things basically I can say is teacher, I will say true. So is our teacher, right? Now I wanted to say multiple other things, right? So is a teacher true? So you can see I have a different container. So it can be let. So where is one type of a container, let is another kind of a container. Data type, this is a string, this is boolean. There can be multiple interesting things basically that exist, right? So what else? So these are, we can see these are variables, these are container. You can have some comparison. So if I say example, I wanted to perform is teacher, I will say console.log, and I simply wanted to say yes, I want to study, right, from the best. So that way. Else console.log, sorry, not interested. If you are not a teacher, I'm not interested to basically study from you. That way. So what we are writing some conditional check where we are saying, hey, if you are a teacher, then do this. If you are not a teacher, do this. Now you can compare it with some operator. Like if you are a teacher is equal to true, then basically perform this operator, else basically perform something else. These kind of a if else checks are something which is very important. Now there are certain loops basically you wanted to perform some like activity on a repeated fashion again and again and again, like so you can have something called for loop, right? It is a loop to do something in a repeated fashion. So what you can do basically, you can simply use where I start from 0, I wanted to go from 0 to 4, and basically I will keep increasing. So what I'm doing over here, so first simply try to write this code and say that hey console.log and try to print it. So what this code will basically do, it will start with I, try to think guys. So it will start with I, which is value 0. It will first increase the value. So how it works basically, let's understand guys. So it basically you have an initial value. It compares if 0 is less than 5. It will go and do the job, which is console.log. Once it is done, it will go and increase the value, then compare, then again print, then again increase the value, compare, then again print. So in this case, you will see the outcome will be 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. For the 5, when it goes and compare, it will say that is 5 less than 5? No, 5 is not less than 5. It will basically give you the outcome, which is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 in this particular case. So the best part I will tell you guys, actually you can execute your code over here. So example, I wanted to execute this code. What I can simply do, I can run this code and you will see the beauty. Yes, I want to study. So you can use multiple interesting things that I'm going to help you. You can use your debugger. You can see where your code basically will go in this particular case. So if you execute this code, example, so you will see if is the teacher, basically you will see what is the value is teacher is true, and hence basically your code will go into console.log, not in the else. It will go into the if condition, not into else. You can execute next. You will see your code will print yes, I want to study. Now similarly you can see how your loop is basically going to work. So I'm going to comment this up, remove the debugger, save it, remove the debugger, and I'm going to add the debugger over here in the console.log. Let's see something interesting happening over here. So again, let's run the code. When you run it for the first time, you will see the value of I is 0. What will happen? It will go and increase the value. It will become 1. It will compare 1 with 5, which is correct. Again, it will come over here. You will see it will print the value over here 0. Then it is going to print 1. Then it is going to print 2. It is going to print 3. And finally, it is going to print your 4. And after that, you will see your code execution basically ends. So you came out of the loop because once it has become I is equal to 5, you are out of the loop and it says that boss, your job is done. You are no longer required. Similarly, you can use something called, as we are talking, there is something called array. So you can have a array. Maybe I say, what are the tech stack basically that you know? Tech stack. Or I can say, what are the stacks that you know, right? Any tech stack only I'm talking about. So you can say, hey, I'm expert in JavaScript. I'm expert in system design. I'm expert basically in different. I'm expert in DSA, right? Any of those things basically you can say, I'm expert. So what it is doing? So array is nothing. Array is a collection of different data type. It can be same string. It can be array, boolean. It can be anything that you wanted to keep. You can, no one can stop you. Even you can say true, even you can store 10, 20, you can store anything basically in JavaScript array. So it's just a collection of, you can say variable or you can say different data type. Now, if you wanted to access, you can access using indexing like 0, 1, 2, 3, and it goes to n-1. So example, if I wanted to access example console.log, and if I say stacks and I give 0, so what it is going to print? It is going to access and print JavaScript. So we can see that quickly. So if you execute this, you will see it will print JavaScript. And if I say, hey, I have something called 2, now you tell me in the comment what is going to basically print. With 2, it is 0, 1 and 2. It is going to print DSA. Let's see. So if you print, so first is JS and second is DSA. So that is what basically it does. Now, you have another interesting thing as we talked about. We talked about, hey, we understand variable data type, operators at a high level, conditional or statement that we have. We understand loop kind of a thing. We understand array kind of a thing. We understand, example, I wanted to create a function. So function in JavaScript are nothing. I wanted to say this is print. For printing purpose, I wanted to create a function. And what it does, whatever message you give, I am ready to print, and I simply write console.log whatever message you are doing. Now, how I am going to leverage? I can simply say print best JS course, right? So in this fashion, you can create a function and you can call a function by passing some dynamic argument. So whatever dynamic value you are passing, you can access and do anything over here. So this is how a function is basically created in JavaScript. Guys, as I said, I'm giving you a very high level stuff so that you get fundamental understanding. Everything we are going to cover in much detail basically in upcoming video. This is just a small glimpses around how JavaScript basically programming works, right? Now, very important thing, your objects in JavaScript. So this was around functions. This was around arrays. This was around your loops in JavaScript, right? And this was around your conditions in JavaScript. And this is around your variables in JavaScript. Now, let's keep doing. Objects, as we talked about, I wanted to have a marriage data. So I hope anyone, do let me know in the comment if anyone planning for the marriage. Okay, so what do you say? You have a first name, obviously. You can fill your name. You can have last name. Very important, in which company basically you work, how much salary you have. I hope people do ask these things, right? So it will be some numbers. I hope you earn in CRs. Best wishes from my side. You have some address. Now, very important, this address can again be object. So example, it can have your city, it can have other informations basically within that. Now, what it need is like, what are your skills or hobbies basically, that you can have array of basically list, like you like cricket, you write badminton and other things. Like people like, I'm a gym person, right? I love to basically fitness freak kind of a stuff. So those kind of a thing basically you can do. Now, if you have to access these data, how do you access? You access via key. So you can simply say marriage data dot example salary. So you will be able to access that. I can simply print it and we can see how basically you are able to access. So it's like key pair value. You have an object and you are able to access any of the data like marriage data dot salary. As I said, I'm giving you very high level glimpses so that you have a very fundamental understanding, and then we are going to do it. So you see, you are able to access your salary over here. So guys, what I meant by, before you jump into your development, now once you are good at programming, that I will make you very good at programming, we will learn development. Like what are the DOM manipulation? Example, like we are able to when I click on this, you are able to see a pop-up or model, how these pop-up or model basically are generated, right? So these kind of interactivity, the click events, right? So you see the different shade, you hover, you get different tooltip. All those interactivity is something you will learn basically when we do the development. API interaction, I click on that, you get the data from the server, and we were able to see the problem statement solution and everything, right? So we are able to store some of the data in the browser so that even I reload, you are able to access the data fast. Cross browser, the same application is working in Chrome, it will work in Edge, it will work in Safari and different platform, right? That kind of a thing. JavaScript internal asynchronous programming, and many things that you are going to learn as a part of the development in upcoming course. So at a high level, Babu Bhaiya, do you understand? Now, if you have to learn the JavaScript, you have to learn the right way. And the right way is you become first programmer and then a great developer in JavaScript. Now, before we move on, it's your turn to answer. So help me. Is it necessary to learn the DOM manipulation to become a JavaScript developer? You let me know in the comment, guys. Very, very important. First, other thing. Can an array store a key pair value in JavaScript? You have to help me. And if yes, how? Is window.alert considered part of a programming or a development? Again, let me in the comment. So with that, thanks a lot guys watching this video. A humble request, if you like this video, as we are just starting with the JavaScript with very, very fundamental thing, I have a humble request. Please go and share this video as much as possible. Please do let me in the comment what are the good things that you liked, what are the more stuff that you want me to cover, what are the topics that you wanted me to cover. So please like, share with your friends, with your students, with other fellow mates, basically as much as possible. Let's make this JavaScript, Chakde JavaScript, the best course in the internet. I'm going to put my all efforts with best possible content, with all the practice stuff that you can think of at one single platform, at one single hood. And just a humble request, guys, make this popular, make this reach to more and more people, so that I enjoy basically creating more great content. Thanks a lot for watching, and Chakde JavaScript. Let's do it together. Let's make it big. Thanks everyone for watching. See you in the next video. Thank you.